You're with the Break-a-Leggers!
And we're in the Midlands in Wolverhampton at the Grand Theatre
To see the musical Blood Brothers.
So stay tuned to find out how many legs.
Whether it's break a leg or leg it.
Before you lovely people go any further,
To make sure you've always got your finger on the theatrical pulse,
sausage news reviews and interviews,
just pop down and hit subscribe now.
hit subscribe now. Let us know if you've seen this. We are seeing the tour of Blood
Yes.
Brothers, and it's been running for a long time, right?
Yeah, this production has been running in excess of 30 years now. It's been on the road for more than 20 of those. The actual original production that played in London and was housed in London played more than 10,000 performances and became the third longest running musical in West End history.
Now, I saw this a long time ago at the Phoenix Theatre. I know some stuff about it. I know it's written by Willy Russell, with music by Willy Russell as well. He also did Educating Rita, which was made into a big film with Michael Caine and someone else. Do you remember who it was?
No idea.
Comment below, remind us who it was. So Willy Russell, set in Liverpool?
Yeah, and it's a class story actually about two twins that are separated at birth, that are both brought up in different families, in totally different circumstances, and how a kind of cosmic coincidence brings them together before they realise that actually they are brothers, and the fallout of that whole situation.
Now, it originally opened in 1983.
Yes.
It won Best New Musical, Olivier Award at the time. I think it has had nominations in subsequent productions as well.
Yeah, 1988 was its revival, actually, and it also won awards for Best Actor then too. So, it's a perennial classic. The reason it's been touring for so long is because it's a great show. I've seen it once before, and I've got to take a moment to say that this is a bit of a homecoming for me. I'm a Wolverhampton boy, and this very theatre is the theatre that sparked my love and passion for theatre. I've seen hundreds of productions here, going all the way back to the late 80s, and most notably 1992, where I saw Roy Barraclough in Mother Goose here 7 times.
Wow, I'm just thinking I'm going to struggle to find that little picture to go on the screen, but I'll see what I can do. So this piece is about 2 hours long. I know it's got 2
hours
2
20
acts.
plus an interval
Okay.
in total. I'm really looking forward to it. As I say, I saw it here 10 years ago. I haven't seen it since, but the same actor is still playing Mickey.
And who is this?
Sean Jones, who's been playing the role
For years?
15 years.
So,
It's got to be good by now, right?
I mean, that is the part you want, Mickey, as well.
Yeah, it's a great part.
But hey, we'll tell you what we think when we get to the interval breakdown, and stick around to find out how many legs at the end.
We've come to the interval of Blood Brothers the musical here at the Wolverhampton Grand, which means it's time for the Break-a-Leggers 30-second interval breakdown. Go! What do you think so far?
I think it's moving really well. It's high stakes, high drama, staged extremely well. I really like it. I'm loving how it's moving. How about you?
Yeah, I mean, the book is fantastic. It's part thriller, part family tale, part desperation. As you mentioned, stage and movement is all fantastic.
There's this kind of narrator character who's kind of like this impending doom of
He's
fate.
fate, isn't he?
Yeah, and it's so it's really tense.
It's
throughout.
compelling, and I can't wait to get back in.
So we have come to the end of Blood Brothers, the 2018 UK tour here at the Wolverhampton Grand Theatre. So what did you make of that?
The piece is phenomenal. The piece is gripping, emotional, zippy, really just pacey and interesting, and captures a whole audience's heartstrings, tugs at them, and then rips them out through their mouths.
Wow. So does that mean you liked it?
It was all right.
I've got to say, I thought it was absolutely brilliant. I mean, we've both seen it before. I've seen it before. I don't remember it actually being biscuit. The piece Willy Russell's writing, he's written such a good piece. The music, he's not known for writing
doesn't write
music.
music. I mean, the history of this piece, briefly, is it started off as a very short play that was toured in schools.
Okay.
And then he thought, this needs another dimension. So he took it upon himself to learn how to write some music and put the songs in.
And what a brilliant job he's done, and the songs are all good. It's dated. I'm going to
It's
say
80s.
it feels.
It's got an 80s sound.
There's
It's very
that,
electro guitar and a doof doof. It's very sort of new romantic in a
Yeah,
way.
it's electric percussion that does it. That kind of doof doof doof. It's like EastEnders when the
Yeah.
EastEnders theme tune kicks in.
It is a lot like
but
that.
it works really well. The pace of it is brilliant.
Yeah.
It's almost a show of two acts in a way. The first act is full of energy. You've got the main characters, the Blood Brothers, being younger.
7 years of age, youthful energy, a kind
Yeah.
of very boyish optimism about them.
And it's almost, I would almost say it's almost over the top, were it not a show of two acts. And the way it works is that in the second act, because it is so grounded and the journey, the arc is so opposite to where it was in the first act, it works, you buy into it, the reality is then found.
Absolutely. And a lot of that is due to the strength of the actors. I've got to say, in particular for me, Sean Jones as Mickey. I was saying on the way out, if that performance that he gives was in a premiere production of this musical, and was in an eligible category for an Olivier, I think he would win it, like hands down. I remember the last time I saw him in this show 10 years ago, and he was the best thing about it then, and for me he still is the best thing about it.
I mean, how long has he been doing it for? 15 years?
Almost 15
and
years
we were kind of
now.
wondering at the start, how can he still be doing it for this long? Well, when you get a chance to perform a part like this that has been written so well in a show as good as this, when you're receiving a standing ovation show after show after show, like this audience, we gave him the standing ovation, they're jumping on their feet. That's the reason why I imagine he does this show, because it is such a rewarding show.
Yeah, absolutely. But I want to kind of get hold of him and find out what he does to keep things fresh and interesting on a personal level. I mean, as someone that's been in shows, after a few months it can get a little bit stale. Can you imagine being in the same place
this
for
is
nearly
why I think it's written
15
so
years?
well, is that he's got such a journey, and
Yes.
such an arc,
It's a
and
great
to be able
character.
to really, just show that full spectrum of character, it's brilliant. He absolutely is one of the pinnacle parts. That is the part you want. Who else stood up for you?
Another great character is that of the narrator.
It's a brilliant part,
It's a
played
great
by Matthew
part.
Craig. I recognise Matthew from way back in my Mount View days. Fantastic vocalist. He nailed it. He's this figure that's directorially and staged extremely well. Some key ideas, they've made that part just this haunting figure that confronts characters from time to time, is always there. Omnipresent. We know right at the start of the piece what is going to happen. It's no surprise. There's no spoilers really in saying that it's a tragedy, and it has a tragic ending.
It's established in the first few seconds of the show.
And yet we're
still
perfectly
drawn in.
balanced between comedy and humour and these brilliant, witty, funny, almost slapstick comedy at times moments. And yet this figure, this narrator, haunting fate figure, this superstition is always there. And he did a great job. Fantastic.
Threatening. I've heard this musical called a non-musical lovers musical. I've heard it, and I would say it is a great sort of entry-level musical because of the strength of the book, and the fact it's relatable, and everybody knows these sorts of situations where you feel less of a person because you don't have what the other person has. It's that class struggle and a jealousy thing, and there are emotions in that writing that everybody can get on board with. I think you could take your most dench man, gym buff, loves football, bit of a drinker, and say, we're going to go and see a musical, and he'd be like, oh man, fuck's sake, no, it's a musical. And I think he'd come away. I think he'd probably be in bits by the end of this.
Balling.
Yeah, I do think he would.
I've got to say, it's just such a brilliant piece of writing. They so well. There's points at the end. I knew what was gonna happen, and yet I was literally on the edge of my seat. I had the hairs going up the back of my neck at the point
and you
in which
feel that
it
in the
happened.
audience. Did you notice,
It's such
like
a
everyone's
nervous
sort of
tension and
shifty
energy.
and
Yes.
like nervous and anxious and uncomfortable?
It's just so good.
Because you're invested. That's what
Yes.
you are.
Also, someone who stood out for me was the part of Linda.
Yeah, Danielle Corlass.
Again, I know her anyway, but just seeing her in a different role, I thought she was absolutely fantastic. Truthful. Again, what a part to play.
Yeah, another pivotal role, and one for me that kind of has to be played well from an acting perspective, is that of Mrs Johnstone. I saw a Nolan. The Nolans are synonymous with this show, to be honest. At one point or another, every single Nolan sister, bar Colleen, I think, but have been in this show playing that role. We had Lyn Paul playing this part, former Eurovision contestant.
Really, I didn't know that.
Yes, she is. And I've got to say, her singing ability and the tone of her voice and the richness in her vocal are beautiful. She needs to go to acting school.
No, I've got to say, this is another. Mrs Johnstone is another fantastically written part. Was it Mel C did this part in the West End
Yes.
in 2010, and she was nominated for an Olivier Award
In a
on the
piece that was
strength-
already open.
on a piece that was already open due to the strength of the piece. Like, it's a fantastic part. Now, Lyn Paul, her vocal tone is brilliant, a lovely tone, and during the last number at the very end, Tell Me It's Not True, is when she really soared. However, I could tell she wasn't a performer. Seeing the amount of an actress, seeing the amount of theatre we see, and knowing and seeing how a performers can get right into a part and own a part, it wasn't there. She was directed, and you could tell where she had been directed. I would almost love to see Danielle Corliss doing a part like that, because I felt Danielle had a truth and an honesty and was really rooted. Do you know what I mean? I'd like to see that calibre of performer
in 10,
taking
20
on that
years'
part.
time, somebody like that will step into it. But
However,
it
I
needs
don't
to be
think
acted well.
it affected the audience. It was something I was aware of, and I'm interested that you picked that up as well. I don't think it affected the piece. The piece is so strong in itself for me.
And that's a luckiness, to be honest. Like, I think it's based on that.
She did enough.
She did enough, but she was lucky in the strength of the book. It's the book that carries the performance. It's not the performance that moves the book.
Yeah, it's just so well written. There's enough going on supporting wise.
But anyway, did you know she taught the world to sing by the song "I'd Like to Teach the World to Sing" by the New Seekers.
Is that the
That's
song?
her.
Is it?
Yeah, the Coke advert.
All right.
Put a clip in.
Okay, clip coming up now.
I'd like to buy the world a home and furnish it with love. Grow apple trees and honey bees and snow white turtle doves.
And back on the streets outside the Grand Theatre. I've got to say the cast was very good as well. A very busy show for the cast.
To the ensemble.
For the cast of the ensemble, playing many different roles, key characters. They really make a point of these characters going into different roles, which is really nice that they get to play these different characters.
This is a Bill Kenwright production, and he is raking it in with this one because it's been on the road so long.
He was on a winner with this one, picking this one up.
He now also has directorial credits alongside Bob Thompson, so he's very involved in this show. I know you were a fan of the lighting.
Lighting was great.
Nick
Set was
Richings,
great.
set designer Andy Walmsley,
And sound was great.
sound by Dan Sampson.
Flawless on that stuff. I mean, sometimes
It's a really tight show.
sometimes you think touring production, oh, they're going to scrimp, they're going to save, it's not going to be as top-notch class as something you would see in the West End. No, this is at the level. They've got everything. Lovely use of flyers, lovely transition of scenes, lovely use of cast to go from scene to scene. Slick, clean, sharp.
Yeah, it's just like really clearly it plays a lot and everyone on every single keyboard knows exactly what they're doing. I almost feel they could do this blindfolded. They seem to make it fit. It felt to me like a real ease.
So you're probably wondering how many legs we are going to give Blood Brothers, the musical, which is out on tour in the UK and has been and will probably continue to be.
For Blood Brothers, the UK tour, we are going to give...
Five legs. Yeah, this is a great piece.
Yeah, it's the piece. Strongest book of a musical. I've seen people lament recently at the lack of strength of British musicals, but to be honest with you, I think this is up there with, if not the best.
Do you know
British
what? This
musical.
is what I was thinking. Yeah, it's a really good parallel. I was thinking at the end with Blood Brothers, it landed.
Yeah.
At the moment in which you found out and it was revealed that they were brothers, the gasp in the audience was there. When the final crescendo moment happened, the gasp was in the audience. Everybody's talking about Jamie. If you go and see our review of that, I felt it didn't have those landing moments. This is exactly what I'm talking about. Everybody's talking about Jamie didn't land. This lands. It lands on every moment. It's written well, staged well.
If you're producing a British musical and you're looking for a book, not to emulate, but to get some great ideas from, I'd say come and see this piece. Interestingly enough, this did run on Broadway for a while. It's a piece about the British class system. It's a very British story, and I think it only works here in the UK, and the fact that they didn't have a hit goes to show that's the case. Maybe something like everyone's talking about Jamie, maybe that would work better somewhere else. Here's hoping.
Now, this is touring in the UK. We see a lot of theatre, and I've got to say this is one of the best. It's up there. You know, there's a reason why it ran in London. I would say if it's coming to a town or a city near you, this is the piece to go and see.
Yeah.
I'd say recommended 12 upwards, 14 upwards.
Yeah,
it's a
early
great
teens.
piece. I think we had colleges in or students in. Go and see this piece. This should be a staple in your education.
But it is, they study it, it's a set text.
Well,
In
there
schools,
we go.
yeah.
And this is why. It's brilliant.
And also, lovely to be back at the Wolverhampton Grand for me. It's a beautiful theatre, great service, everyone was so friendly. Support your local touring shows. You know, it's not all about London. These great productions are on your doorstep.
Yeah, and seeing such a great piece of theatre at such a local venue, you know, will definitely be back to the Grand. They've got some great stuff coming up this year.
They really do.
So hopefully we'll be back to report on this, so you can catch those pieces also in a town or city near you. But hey, that's just what we thought about Blood Brothers.
Yeah, let us know what you think. I'm sure many of you have seen the show. I mean, it's been going for long enough. Let us know your thoughts. Leave a comment down below. Like the video. Let us know you're there. We're the Breaker Leggers, and we'll catch you again soon.
Bye.